Hi everybody, Greg Rust with you for another edition of Catching Up with the Kiwis. We're delighted this time to deviate just slightly from the traditional competitor path and talk about someone who's been a very prominent volunteer in the sport, so much so that they won Volunteer of the Year at the MotorSport New Zealand Awards night very recently in Christchurch. Jo Maulder, hello.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
It's fantastic to talk to you. Firstly, we'll get to your role, a very significant role with D1NZ in a moment, but what got you started on the whole path of perhaps being involved in a very important role of the sport, but on the other side of the pit wall and other parts of the track?
Yeah, so initially, when D1NZ was in its grassroots phase, I had a lot of friends who were competing. So I'd be along at every event anyway. I actually bought my first drift car myself in 2008. Dabbled in that a little bit. I'm not any good, but it's fun to do. And then a few years later, I just started helping out as I became good friends with the people running the events, and they needed help. So I started flag marshalling, then got underway helping with the documentation, then went out and helped in pit lane, became the head of grid basically. And from there, Brendan just needed an extra hand, someone he could rely on in race control so that he could sort of deviate to other parts of the business. And so, yeah, for the past 3 years, I've been running race control for D1.
Very cool. I work with Brendan White in another capacity with some circuit racing stuff. He's a younger promoter and loves the game immensely. His passion is quite infectious, isn't it? So what was the trigger point though that made you buy that car? What was that car, and what made you say, yeah, let's I want to have a crack at drifting?
Oh, it was just really the fun thing to do. Everyone was doing it. It was 2008, so it was an old Nissan Safiro. That it was automatic at the time, and it did a manual conversion. It was turbo, and it was just a lot of fun to have a street car that I could drive to the racetrack, have a bit of fun, and drive home again.
Did you get as much of a buzz from that other side? I mean, you've just detailed some of the different facets of the game that you have worked in and now work in. Was it, is it it seems as though it's very rewarding for you in that sense?
It is, yeah. Like with most things, the best part about it is, you get to know the competitors and you get to watch them do well and do amazing, incredible things that sort of defy all odds when it comes to drifting, basically just things that people shouldn't be able to do with their cars, and you're watching them just get better and better, and it's just a real buzz to watch your friends, and they become like a second family, grow and compete and do just incredible things, and you're right alongside them, helping keep them safe and trying to encourage them all to do well.
There is a very strong female presence involved on, in the administrative and officialing side in this country, in all different forms of motorsport, isn't there?
Yeah, it's it could always be more, but it's great to see a good amount of diversity. I'm trying to bring some younger blood through as well.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that and what you're doing to perhaps inspire and encourage and things like that. I know colleagues in Australia often talk about it being the best seat in the house, don't they?
Yeah, it is. I've had the pleasure of going over and helping run an event in Australia as well. And again, there's lots of females there. It's just any opportunity I've got to let people know about ways to get involved officially or informally as well. I'm just encouraging it, because a lot of people, unless their friends or family are doing it, think that it's something that's out of their reach. But I mean, anyone can get involved and show their passion. It just really takes someone who's going to be there, be reliable, show up, do the right thing at the right time, and try to learn how to make those good decisions and sort of build their way up within the hierarchy of an event management, basically.
And a little bit of, that great work ethic that everyone in your team seems to have, from the endless pack-ins and pack-outs. There's some hard work involved, but if you love the game, that pays back in other ways when you get to see the competition and you get to be actively involved in it.
Yeah, and along the way, we've seen some amazing international competitors come over and compete, and you get to meet them, which are sort of like the stars of the sport internationally. And also, we've travelled to Australia and met a whole lot of incredible drivers over there as well. So, yeah, it opens up some amazing opportunities, and yeah, highly recommend it.
Tell me, I mean, obviously, I think you're a mum too, is that right? And you've got, a business. So, I mean, it's quite a juggle, isn't it?
It is, yeah. My business actually is building predominantly drift cars, so
Okay.
it fits in quite well.
Yep.
And yeah, it's mine and my husband's passion. So he doesn't mind, of course, sharing the load of childcare when I've got to go away for an event weekend. Um, yeah, he doesn't mind taking up the slack, and that's what he does as well. He builds race cars, and then sometimes when we have international drivers come over, he'll help run their car sort of in the team. And yeah, I mean, when we're not at doing official events or building cars in the workshop, we've got our own cars out on track. So it's pretty much what we do.
Where would you like it to go within the balance of all that? Because family is obviously important to you. You have a business and so on, but you're immersed in this. You love it. What's the next step? So at the moment, race control, D1NZ, very prominent and important role, and I would imagine that Brendan would love to keep you in that because it is such an important part of his show. But what's on the wish list for you? Maybe 5 years down the track on the motorsport side.
I'm sitting my clerk of the course certificate qualification next month, so getting that. And I've seen you at the endurance racing that I've had the pleasure of sitting in race control and helping Deb as well. So I'm, rather than stepping back with the family, I'm looking to diversify and get more involved in more events and anything that I can be a part of. It's in your blood, so.
Good on you. I mean, and it becomes, as is so often the case when you talk to other people in the paddock, it's a family game, isn't it? So family end up when it's like that, you are a group of families all together sharing that same passion.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, let's so knowing that you want to tick that box and move up, is that how full on is that process of trying to get that tick so you can do that role?
MotorSport New Zealand are making it quite easy now. Bruce has got all this online training, so I'm signed up for that. It's sort of do it at your own pace, and then just a final Zoom meeting, I think, at the end of it. So I'm hoping that it won't be too hard to get my foot on the bottom ladder and go from there and attend more events and get more qualified. I don't know. I'm not really sure how it
works. The live TV means that we are now quite intrusive. We want to take the audience into every aspect of motorsport, and that often means peeking into race control and hearing and seeing what they're up to and so on. Is that side of things okay for you? How do you find that?
Yeah, that's fine. I was up there when you came in and interviewed Deb at the endurance series.
Hampton Downs.
Yes. It can be quite full on. So, as long as there's nothing happening on the track during an actual drift event, then I'd be more than happy to have you up there.
It's got to be a thing where, in addition to having that qualification, if you like, from MotorSport New Zealand, it obviously needs sort of leadership skills and good people skills and so on. Has that stuff been something that you've developed over time as well, or has that kind of come naturally through business and life and so on?
I guess it's probably come naturally, and that's probably how I've ended up in that role. But it's always something I'm working on. I used to go up and down the pits, for a bit of lack of a better word, yelling at the drivers where they needed to be and get here and go here and do this, and I need this from you now. So that sort of a leadership style I've had to pull back on a bit, have to be use a little bit of a sugar to get my way with some of the drivers and the officials even. Learned a bit of a tact over the time.
Good for you. Final one. If you would love to send a little bit of a message to younger male and female, people in the sport that perhaps would like to do this. maybe steer them in the direction? What's the best way they can kind of get started? Obviously, Motorsport New Zealand has a terrific website and social media platforms, but there's it's not a hard process to come and be a part of, is it?
No, and there's many promoters out there having many different kinds of events. Really, as an attendee, anyone can see what sort of cars and what sort of vibe of any event that they go to, and it's really just a matter of getting to know other people that are volunteering and asking how they can get involved. I went to an event on the weekend just gone, and they had at least 30 volunteers. It was incredible, but you need that sometimes for events of a large size to be able to pull them off. So, I mean, there's plenty of room for people to come and get involved. Either get to know people from a specific event or go directly through Motorsport New Zealand. And I know that Deb has a fantastic team of motorsport volunteers, and she can pull those people across any different types of events. I mean, I'm keen to get involved in more rally and more circuit racing and that kind of thing as well. So I'm sure I just need to ask the question and it'll be able to make it happen.
Well done. In wrapping this up, drifting globally, I mean, it's not new. It's been around for some time now. But in the stable, if you like, of traditional circuit racing or rallying, as you mentioned there a moment ago, it is the newer face, if you will. Has it been embraced? And you mentioned Deb and so on. It's nice to see some crossover. Everyone learning in that regard.
Yeah, for a while there, we did feel like drifting with a genre that people didn't want at their racetracks, and we weren't, quite so embraced. But I mean, certainly in recent years, Motorsport New Zealand have been great in helping us enable more, getting more events and getting more traction, and of course, having crossing to live TV, we've really felt that we've stepped up to that tier, and we're able to align ourselves better with the traditional motorsport schemes, as we can all unite and work together and grow basically Motorsport New Zealand as a whole, because the talent we've got here as drivers and officials is just incredible when you see how they perform around the world. It's quite cool to be a part of New Zealand motorsport as a whole.
Volunteer of the Year. That's got a great kind of ring to it, and thoroughly deserving. Were you surprised? What did you think? What was your reaction?
I knew I was up for a nomination, but didn't think that I would get it when you're sitting in I attended the AGM conference as well. So you're sitting in a room of 100 volunteers at any one time, and everyone is so passionate and so dedicated to what they do, and they pull off some amazing things. So didn't think that I was going to take the award, but very, very humbled and pleased to do so. And it sort of reinforces that wanting to do more and give back and get more involved.
Richly deserved. So well done.
Thank you.
There, Jo Maulder, lovely to chat with you, and I hope that our conversation here in the latest edition of Catching Up with the Kiwis maybe inspires you to go and check out the Motorsport New Zealand website, or head to their social media platforms and talk to people that are in the game. We'd love to see you trackside and experiencing it and learning what is a great asset for the entire game. It is, as many often say, the best seat in the house. Stay tuned. We will have another edition of Catching Up with the Kiwis right here real soon. Bye for now.